Okay.
All right.
No, I'm here.
He said he went to go get his laptop.
He's here.
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the next minute. I'm your host today. Woo! We're doing something a little different, baby. Whoa! It's victory. It's T-Will. We're on YouTube. Whoa! Say what's up to the people, man.
What's up, man?
John. Say
Man,
what's up to the people. And last but certainly not least, Stacks. See Stacks. Say what's up to the people, man.
hey everyone, rip headphone users, I guess.
Yeah. You're done. You're done. Get out of here. Yeah. We're talking about Gen Con 2024. Good old incursion, right, boys?
That's right.
And it was
Everyone's favorite format.
Oh yeah, my favorite, absolute favorite. Quite a lot happened over this last weekend here.
Oof.
And let's jump right into it. We're gonna start with traveling. Me and Smallwood, along with a couple other folks, we got there on a Tuesday evening. You know, John, when did you get to Gen Con? When did you get to Indy? Three p.m. on Wednesday, right? So you were on get a bite to eat, go to sleep, and play Incursion the next day, right? Same for you, right, Stacks? You guys got in Wednesday, roughly?
Yeah, I actually got in a few days earlier. I got family up north, so I went and spent a few days with family, and then me and my brother road tripped out to the Indy airport, scooped up John,
Okay.
and headed out to the airport or our hotel. So
Easy money, right?
Yep.
All right. It's Thursday. We've said our hellos. We've gotten our badges and things, right? What do you guys think about Incursion before we continue? Like, is the because I told myself back in like Incursion 2 that at around Incursion 7 or 8, it would be a fun format, an engageable format, right? Who's to say if we are actually at that point now? But what do you guys think about Incursion? What do you guys think?
Brutal. I gotta start off. I'm not a negative guy, so it'll be easy. It sucks that some of the good cards got incurred, but it's like the healthiest, diverse meta we've ever had. Like, what was the most played main among the 2 days? It was like 3. It was great. Honestly, like, I sucks that a lot of key cogs are gone and some dudes got cut, but I think the diversity and playability is there. Sure.
So you mean feature format 1?
Yeah. I think it's all you can ask for in a game with like 200 plus main characters. Like, just have some diversity.
Yeah, I mean, so I was just gonna say, I mean, it is kind of tough to criticize the Incursion format, given that we've been begging for a ban list format in Versus for literally years, and we finally have that. I don't necessarily agree with the philosophy of changes that they put on the Incursion ban list, but they're trying, and it is the most diverse format that we've seen. Now we can talk about game design problems like the so much healing and stuff we have in the game.
Oh yeah,
that is still allowed to exist in Incursion, but all in all, I think Incursion gets a thumbs up for me, I guess.
Robert Smallwood. We covered a lot of ground this summer, despite all my belly aches and grumbles and aggravation with some of these mains. Why don't you guide us through some of the guys that we were looking at, our top 5, if you will?
All right, well, we'll just get this out of the way real quick. Theory crafting and phone calls with Burt is pretty miserable whenever he can't play photo. You gotta make him engage because he's like, I want to play my photo cards, and you can't. All right, you just can't. All right, it was Valkyrie or bust. So it was a little rough. We had a pretty large gauntlet, dude, but I don't think we missed too much. Kingpin was on the docket. We played him. We played Death. It was like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Venom, Dark Phoenix. There was a bunch of heat on the mat. It was pretty rough. It was competitive.
Yeah, a lot of those guys were they were mincing up other guys in the gauntlet, and it made it hard to choose. Right,
It was rock paper scissors was ever so clear. Yeah.
full effect. Yeah,
Hmm.
John, you had a guy in mind, and you stuck up with him all the way up until Thursday, right? Why don't you talk to us about your guy? Must have been 20 to 30, yeah. Yep. Yep.
He sees blood.
Well, okay. So before you finish doing that, John, I want to get to Stacks because he also took a long extended break from Versus to BCG. Stacks, you're it's the night before. You're like, I'm gonna give a day to Gen Con over to Versus. What are you looking for in Swiss? Are you looking to have a good time? Are you looking to dice up some fools in Swiss? Or you just looking to hang out? What's like the thought process of I need to get back into this game competitively speaking? You know, the people want to know. They need to know, Stacks.
We
Where'd
lost
he
him.
go?
No way.
Bodied.
It's a good lead up too. He'll come back. He'll come back.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Listen, I firsthand what you're saying. My group evaporated and I got like absolved into the Build It Club, and like it is the reason you play. It's fun. Like when we got to hang out at the B and just like go over decks and matchups and just BS, and that's like the fun part, man.
Yep.
It's gotta win. Hmm.
I think we should talk about the general feel for Thursday. We're gonna give Stacks a little time to come back in.
I'm here.
There he is.
So what
Yeah, I
were
didn't
we?
have a very good Thursday.
Oh no, Stacks. Oh no. Okay, well you're gonna lead us off with your Thursday, but talk to me about like where was your headspace the Wednesday night? Like, oh, I'm giving a day away to Versus. I'm gonna have a good time with it, or like, were you winning? Were you playing to win, or you were just trying to get
Uh,
your feet wet?
man, I was definitely not playing to win at the beginning of the weekend. Wednesday night going into Thursday, I kind of just wanted to play to have fun and then enjoy the con.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of similar to what John was saying, once you once you get with the team and then once you actually sit down and experience the competitive element again, it kind of all clicks again. And after I got mollywopped and played like absolute garbage on Thursday and got punished for it, it was time to lock in after that. So I did not start out the weekend very serious, but after by the time Thursday night rolled around, we were locked in.
100%. Let's talk about our mains. And John, you alluded to who you picked on Thursday, but I'll go first. I only liked Sin 6. I didn't like any other deck in our gauntlet. I hated them all. I think they all took too long to win the game. And I decided, you know what? If I'm going to have to play these 10, 12, 14 minute or 14 turn games, I'm just going to play the guys I like. I had 7 health. I was playing Omega Storm. Stormlock you. And we're just going to play Ash and waste your time. And I was pretty comfortable with it because it was the only deck I liked. So that's what I took. I took Sin 6. The lineup was Shocker, Electro, Venom, Sandman, Craven, Hobby, and who was the 6th one? I don't remember. But there were 6 of those fools. And I thought we had game. And John, who did you play?
Agreed.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Dex, you said you had not so good of a Thursday, but who did you end up playing?
Yeah, I won't take up too much time because I just copied the homework again, true to C-Stack's form. I copied Burt's exact list. I was on the Sinister 6, and it was a very quick 0-3 drop for me. I was just misreading my own cards and just punting left and right and losing to myself a whole lot. Not to discount the people I played against or anything, but I was not in top form on Thursday, so I just dropped and decided that we were going to recalibrate that night. So not a good day for me.
Here's a cool little tidbit. Why did you co-sign that deck? Because I know why, and I think it's kind of cool. But
Oh, because I always copy the homework and it always works out. Every
no,
time I've copied the Burt list.
there were alien battles cards in there, man.
Oh yes, that is true. There were
dude.
yeah. Anytime I see a list that has alien battles cards in it, I'm immediately on board. So yeah, that was very cool.
Nice.
Smallwood.
All right. First, let me just segue this from what you said. Sin 6 is the only thing you like. I'm going to tell you how frustrating it is to test with versus with Burt Richardson, okay? As he's dumpstering you with all the creations and then goes, I don't really like it, and then dismantles it. Absolutely brutal. He destroys me with Dark Phoenix. He goes, nah, not really a big fan. Just like, I'm just going to dismantle this. This happened with like 4 different decks. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm struggling to beat what you're building, and you're just like, I'm out of here. This is crap. And then Sin 6, he's like, you know what? I found one I liked. I'm like, well, there's no reason to discuss it because you're the only one you've liked so far.
Yeah, and to clarify, it wasn't the deck that was the problem for me. I definitely these Burt decks these piles he puts together are too big brain for me. He's playing 4D chess, and I need something a little more simple.
1000%. So I went in there with the 2 mains and I didn't know who I was gonna play day one. I knew I had Molecule Man, which me and John spent like hours talking about the night prior, like ironing out the 60, and then I had Venom, a little homebrew, and I was like, man, I really think Molecule Man's the best guy, but I want to put my faith in the homebrew here. So we opted for Venom. I feel like he's been a little underutilized, as good as he is. He's one of my favorite guys, but a little unorthodox build, of course. The
Great.
group showed up with some fire.
Do we want to talk about like notable losses on Thursday, or like what was like the, because me and John, we have a side story to tell, and there's gonna be a bit of controversy in there, but I want to start with Stags and Smallwood. Is there anything that you remember like seeing like, oh man, that's gonna be rough on Sunday? Like what were you guys like looking at in Swiss?
I don't remember Thursday well enough.
Well,
Go ahead,
luckily,
Smallwood.
All right. So Thursday, I lost one total game, and it was on turn 1. Um, my opponent, Patrick, the Godhand Lenahan, hit me with the old red Valkyrie. He who remains, you die on 1. You know, I started to rethink life after that round 3.
Well, there's
I
your
was like,
photo guy, Burt.
there's your photo guy, yeah.
was,
And then, but that was the only loss I had. No, spoiler. But like that loss, I was like, man, am I on the wrong kind of deck here? That felt terrible.
brutal, absolutely brutal. Now, Stacks, you said you went 0-3 drop, right? Frustrated,
Yes. Yeah.
annoyed, whatever. We'll pick it up tomorrow. John, we played a bit longer than that, and if I remember right, we both dropped X3. We both dropped Thursday, right? We didn't play the whole time. We didn't play our winning ins. Let's try and guide the listener through this Thursday versus Friday crew, because I had a plan and you had a plan. Talk to me about your plan. No, like the let's figure it out and get it on the better day. Let's get it on Friday plan. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went X3 drop. Ended up playing a completely different guy. We'll talk about that in Friday. Me, myself, I believed in Sin 6. It was the only thing I wanted to play. It was the only thing I could see myself playing well. But I saw a lot. There was a lot of healing on Thursday. There was a ton of healing. My 3 losses were, I lost to Mall Command, I lost to John, I lost to AW, Brian Danielson, he was healing, Scully and the Young Buck. I lost in time to Luke Cage. He drew 6 of 8. He had healing, and he wasn't taking the wounds, right? And I sat there and I was like, wait a minute. My top end can't handle this. I need Wound Excel. I need ways to break apart their healing and all this crap that they're doing. So I remember I lost to Jamar Cole. Shout out to Jamar Cole. Shout out to Team Apex. I lost to Luke Cage, and I was like, you know what? No, I want another try, because what we were talking about Thanos Green. We were talking about more zombies. We were talking about getting off of the Ghost Riders and the Claw and the Agamotto even, and trying to get more potent attackers in there. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it, because this configuration is not doing it on Thursday. So we're gonna get it on Friday. We're gonna try again. I went 3-3 drop on Thursday. Now, I'm so glad I stuck to my guns too, because I could have played my winning end, but then I would have had a weak top end against all the healing, all the scams, all the combo scams. And so I got out. I was like, nah, let me play Friday. Let me change it up. Change up like 8 to 10 cards. Figure it out, right? I Yeah, go all the way, right? I believe at this point, Friday, and it's happened twice in a row, right? The people that get another Friday is so favored. I hope people understand how favored Friday is. They are so. Not only did I sit there and I'm looking at all these lists that I know I would probably have to go up against, but if I if I match up my top end the right way, I have game like against all these people. Let alone what about the people that oh, I don't know what happened yesterday. I didn't even play yesterday, but oh, I heard through the grapevine that Daredevil wasn't in the room, so I'm going to play Death, or I'm going to play insert the blank on the guy that arguably shouldn't even be in Swiss. And he had game. She had game. You know what I mean? So it's like Friday's so favored, man. Friday's so favored. And so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I could give you
I
some
don't have
insight
to
on the other
respect it.
side,
It's
right?
already in the Thursday. Like,
The insight on the other side is because I had the opposite effect, right? Where I was doing well, so I was like, man, this is deck's firing on all cylinders,
mm-hmm.
good. But I will tell you that the advantage, even on very glaring to me, we won't go into too detail, but like I had people that audibled to something similar I was playing, but were able to like basically retool the list to deal with the room and
Mm-hmm.
also know 50% chance of what they were going to pair into in top cut. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't overstate how insane that is. Whereas I went in blind 60 versus the room and I had to roll with that deck in the top cut.
Right.
Versus getting to know, like, you might play these decks and you will probably have to play, like, you knew day one was 2 Valk, 2 Venom. Like, you had a 50% chance to play, like, those mains. I mean,
Yep.
it was just a criminally, and this is from someone who did well. It's still like it's happened both years in a row. Like day one doing well, it's like a curse.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing hard mode. Like you have no chance of coming out of the bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough. It's brutal. Smallwood, you're gonna sit this one out because you got to have an extra day of Gen Con. Me, John, and
Yeah. Look, I want to get my flowers for my Swiss deck because I'm not the homebrew type. All right, this is the guy that played Thor and Thanos. All right, I'm the least original guy in Versus. All right. And to be able to play homebrew and do well, I felt like I was part of the true Build It Club fashion. I was like, we've adopted the strategy,
oh, absolutely,
We
absolutely.
did it. We did it. So we got to play our main Venom, who I knew built out of the box of all of his cards was trash. Turning right with symbiosis doesn't beat anything. All right, it's trash. It's garbage. So we just cut all of those cards. We're not playing any of those cards. We just want to heal. Healing's broken. We want to play Iron Man from the first set ever. We want to heal more. Play Null. Let's heal some more. And the best card in Versus and testing that they printed was Nakoda. All right, that card is the
Ooh,
most fire card in
ooh.
Versus they printed. Nakoda is fucked up. If you're not playing Nakoda, just go sleeve it. All of my testing decks were 56 cards and Nakoda, unless it was mono. The card's messed up. It's to the point where it warped all of my other choices, and I was like, well, discarding's broken. Let's lean into that. We started playing mediocre cards like Black Cat and Arnim Zola and Valeria Richards, who really shouldn't see sleeves too much. But if you put them on conjunction, you put them all in a blender and you put it in the bake, it comes out like a cake. It had candles and sprinkles, and when all of them together, in all 7 of my rounds, 6 of them, my opponent had no cards in their hand.
Yeah.
I got to play Titan for money.
Titan made the list.
Fucking
And
awesome.
That wasn't throwing. It's good.
That was one of my favorite, like, low-key cards I've ever liked this game, and it did highlight one game where I got to give my Black Cat Arm Zola Eternal, recast the Zola, bounce the old Zola, play the new Zola, crash the cat, return it. I was like, there is no more value I'll ever achieve off of Titan than this moment right here. And I got to play stuff I wanted, and I was like, that was so rewarding because I'm usually just the guy's going to play the most potent stuff that, like, it's going to win. But the deck was also really good. People could not handle not having cards. It was real, and I felt pretty confident about top cut. I was like, man, I don't mind winning day one because the deck was just firing on all cylinders. I was super happy how it performed.
I'm happy for you, man. You didn't feel like you had to play traditional Venom. You didn't feel like
Nah.
you.
And it felt good to be like on the frontier of like, man, you really just don't need to play any of these cards, and you guys can cut all this stuff.
Yep. How much on a scale of 1 to 10? How much do you hate Riot and Agony?
Riot and Agony are unsleevable cards. All right, they're unsleevable cards. It's even Lasher wasn't a 4 of on my list.
Yeah.
We did not care about any. They don't care how fast we load. Don't care about like our like. I guess everyone wants to lean into the high roll with the Venom pump, but like, nah, I'm good, man. Correct. We knew we would eventually win. If the idea was the fundamentals of the deck where you have your main, I have my main, your cards are gone, but I have a main with symbiosis. It's probably better than most mains on the map if you only have your main, right? And that was the case for all 7 of my rounds. My main was better when they had no cards.
Yep.
That was the fundamentals. Unfortunately for me, we'll get into it later, but there's a main that's a little better on the mat sometimes they don't have cards.
Oh man. All right. It's Friday. It's Friday. I dressed down. Good shirt Burt went home. It's hoodie Burt, and it's John, and it's Dax the Revenge. I'm gonna start with myself because I knew that if I had gotten through Swiss, if I didn't get timed out or healed out, I would have a pretty good chance in the Sweet 16. Stacks, you had a rough Thursday, but you're
Yeah, I
on a
did.
deck that you're on a deck that you feel that you could navigate, right? Talk to me about this switch up.
So on Thursday night, after Burt had failed me with the Sinister Six list, no offense, I said Smallwood. That Venom list looked pretty spicy yesterday. Can I copy the homework? And the teammate hooked it up. So I was on Venom, very similar to Smallwood's list. I cut like some of the top end stuff. I cut the Agamotto, which would probably bite me in the butt in top cut. But I cut like the Null and the Agamotto, and I put like some more fighting dudes in there. Like I was playing the Spider Friends Captain America, who throws the shield. That guy was actually kind of a house. He was throwing the shield at like 3-drop Gorgon, stuff like that. So yeah, I was on the Venom discard deck, and yeah, it felt very nice through Swiss. Oh, I know.
No homework. John, you're not playing Molecule Man today on Friday. Who are you playing? Hmm. Yeah. Hell yeah. What's your like win con for those who haven't played Kingpin much? Like, what are you trying to do? Under hard man. He, yeah. Oh, we got Thanos in there. We got the OG supervillain of the Avengers. Storm was still there. We got some more zombies in there. Shikla, so we could storm lock. I was very comfortable with my top end as opposed to the day before, and I'm so glad I switched the cards out. We got Ronan in there, so Ronan and Dakota was supposed to rip hands up, and they did. They definitely did. And yeah, we just 35-25. We just minced people up. That was the plan. Yep. Well, I have I have to admit, round one I go up against Mitch. It's the mirror. I knew how to navigate the mirror, and unfortunately, I was thinking about all of the stars in the sky at the same time while I had to Thanos knock his Sandman out and then put my Sandman down so that I can win. And instead, I attacked with the Sandman. And as soon as I did it, I'm like, damn it. I need to not do this right now. I needed to Thanos first. And yeah, I know. I fucking threw on the Friday, the very first match against.
Oh, you're playing like me.
Yeah, I know. I was so frustrated. I'm like, man, not round one. Fuck. But yeah, he actually got me. But even after I got up from that match, I'm like, okay, well, if Mitch does well, I'm gonna make it because Mitch is a strong player. He landed on something strong. There were some differences in our lists, and I'm sure when the lists get published, I'll be able to tell exactly what happened. But I believe he went more aggro. He wanted to play things turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, whereas I didn't. I knew that my game lasted from turns 8 to 15, and I was just gonna dominate. I was gonna storm lock you. I was gonna infect you with zombie Thor and zombie Jugsy Wugsy, and you were just not gonna have a good time because my main was gone. My main was Sandman with Ash. Yeah, so I knew he was gonna do well, and I knew that all I had to do was do my part, and I was gonna make top cut that day. But yeah, we're 0-1, and we immediately lose again. We immediately lose again to. So let me tell you what this guy did. Shout out to Anthony. I don't even want Anthony Q. I'm not gonna butcher your last name. He's playing Hammer Bullseye, and he wins the roll. He goes first. He goes, "Oh, red, get you." I'm like, okay. Then I deal a wound. Then he goes, "Red, get you," and I'm like, okay. And then he flips, and then he proceeds to play Mimic with 4 fucking yellows in the row. I'm like, I can't ever connect with this guy. I'm never going to connect with this guy. So the turns that I need to connect and deal the wounds, 7, 8, 9, he's like, yellow, gain a life. Yellow, gain a life. And I'm like, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose this game too. And I did. And I was frustrated. I was super frustrated. I'm like, 0-2. We're probably not going to make it. I even asked Stacks. I remember talking to Stacks. It's like, what's even the point, man? What's the point, man? I just want to go get a corn dog or something and just relax. And Stacks was like, no, dude, play it. Play it out. You can win out. You can do your thing. The comeback
kid.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me get in the driver's seat here. We went up against Scott Cuz, Team Buckeye. We win. And that was a therapeutic match because I was super frustrated. I was super like not happy. But Scott did that thing he does where he's like talking through the lines. He's like trying to relax. He's trying to have a good time with the game. And I even obliged him. I was also talking through the game, and we were just talking about life and stuff. And I won that game. Then, yeah, he's a good dude. Definitely probably the conscience of that team, I would say. Where the hell is the rest of this? Friday. Okay, death. Then we played against Kayla, the lady Mitch. She's playing Moon Knight, non-mono. I'm like, okay, we can get this. I have to watch out for super senses and defender. I should be taking a wound on her turn, but she should be getting one right back. She collected the first Ash, and then I played another one right after. I played the Storm. She got Storm locked, and I beat her. Who did I play after that? Oh God. Okay. Brian Danielson. I don't even remember playing Brian Danielson on Friday. I won that though. I won that match. And then I played against Molecule Man. I played against Jose. Let's get dangerous. Did I play him in round 4 though? Okay. It seems like such a blur. I don't remember that game at all. I played Mall Command. I remember Ronaning. I Ronin the Shadow Cat. He was at 5. He took 5 and 6. He gained a life through Ultron front road. And I went, okay. Storm, he got stormed. He didn't draw another Sing. And then I went Ronin, accused Shadow Cat, swinging for lethal. He tried to observe and adapt the Sin 6, but that doesn't work because there's a pumpkin in the text, which it doesn't remove. So we got him. And then my winning in is we're X2. We're 3-2. My winning in is against Brother Berman. It's short stacks, right? It's short stacks.
Oh yes, that's right.
A promising new face in Versus of 2 BCG. 8 years later, I think that kid has potential. I think he has a future in this game. And whenever he wants to jump into this game and he needs some advice, he can call on me. He kept his gambit was I have gas in my hand. Burt, you're going to get gauntleted over the course of this game. I just need to draw 1, maybe 2 heals, and I have 5 turns to do it. He never drew a heal. Never drew a heal. Never. It was it was actually super brutal. I'm literally getting away with murder because I'm sending Exaxes and he didn't have the codex, and then he would return the damage, but he took 5 and 5. He took 5 and 5. I body blocked the Electro, so I got 2 blues out of like I think I body blocked with like a Nakoda or something. And yeah, he fell. He fell down. He didn't get up. We did the comeback. It felt scummy, honestly. He definitely had game. The matchup's super rough, but yeah, we went X2. We went X2. Stacks. It's your turn. Talk to
Yeah.
me about your switch, dude.
So I was on the Venom deck, choosing to go second anytime we won the roll.
Yep.
To have more cards. I don't remember all my matchups, but I know I played against the Hammer Bullseye deck, and I beat that.
Mhm.
I know I played against Mitch on the Sinister Six deck, and I beat that. I just aggroed it down and discarded his whole hand. The games the deck wins feel super easy when you put your opponent on like literally 0 cards.
No
Uh,
options.
yeah, I think I know I beat New Kingpin. I beat one of the death players, and I can't remember what my one loss was. So after going I think I lost to the death. That had to be it. So yeah, after going 0-3 drop day 1, I went X1 day 2 and finished top seed. So that was real nice. What were you saying, John? Yes, yeah, I played against the Moon Knight deck. I don't think it was the same Moon Knight player that Burt was playing against because I think it was maybe mono Moon Knight with the heals, but they just didn't see the heals, or I threw all the heals in the discard pile.
Damn. John
Cards.
is trying to take over the world, dude. How did how, oh, mm, mm, yeah, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Mm, yeah. Destiny. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Disgusting, dude.
Oh yeah.
You should go to jail.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Oh yeah, I heard about. Was that the steak and shake? That was the last meal you had? Damn.
Gross.
Damn.
The universe was determined to thwart us.
Yeah. But we all made top cut when it was all said and done. We're the top we with, baby. Oh, yeah. Talk to us about your Friday, dude.
Oh yeah, that little thing. I was like, I got a free day off. We're doing some things. Let's play this legendary tournament. What could go wrong? The answer is nothing, because we won 4 of our 5 games, and we took home a giant X23 trophy, a fat check.
It must.
Let's go. That's light. That's light. Light work.
Yeah.
Easy dub. It was insane. It's the first thing I did when I got home was like, I gotta go put this together. I gotta go put this in the game room. I was so excited, man. That was it was fantastic. Legendary is awesome, and I enjoyed that
That's
tournament very much.
awesome, man. How many legendary wins is that for you now?
It's 2. It's 2. Yeah.
And I know you were hyped the first time they flipped the henchman and it wasn't the sinister clowns.
I enjoyed every minute of it. It was very, very fun. That game's great. We had to dice that one up while you guys were dissecting Friday,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining at all. The trophy is always like the coolest part.
Yep. All right. It's Saturday. No need to get into like the super details, but we went and demoed some games. We played some games. I got all my league promos. Had to get those. Ooh, which, by the way, the promos are sick. The Uatu League mat is fresh, sick, nasty. And I think we just had some like garbage fast food and we went to bed, right? Nothing too crazy. Oh, I was sweating my matchup a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. First of all, they told us that if you get bodied in top 16, you don't get an infinity gauntlet. So I was like, no, 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 no. I'm leaving with one of those infinity gauntlets. So all day during league, I was sneaking in Sin 6 v Venom. I called it Family Guy over the weekend. That's what Ryan Mulholland's list was, Family Guy. I played against Family Guy all of that Saturday to get my league promos. I had to play 21, 22 games. At least half of those was the matchup. And let me tell you, between Smallwood playing it, Smallwood was playing Family Guy, John played Family Guy, and Stacks was like, yeah, I'll give it a couple tries before I go home. I didn't win any of those games. It felt like one of the hardest matchups I've ever had to go up into in versus. And I was just like, this sucks. I'm actually gonna get bodied for the gauntlet. But I was like, you know what? I just have to hope that Ryan Mulholland doesn't draw as well as T-Wiv, and I'll have a chance. Uh, and that was my Saturday. Walked away with some cool loot. Traded as hell in the matchup, but we were gonna give it our best try.
We had to do a lot of guesswork.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It wasn't close. It wasn't close. I was like, man, how do I get through this? This is awful, man. They're healing. They're powerhousing me. They're getting everything they need. Oh, Echo. Oh, Galactus off the top. Baby girl off the top. Thor. every time somebody drew something and it was a real card, I was like, man, I actually just lose to that. We just died of that. Stacks, do you remember how you felt about your matchup? Like, do you remember who you had to go up against?
Yeah, I was gonna play against Marcellus on the zombie Magneto. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And I, yeah,
Turn
and
one.
I was very blessed to have initiative in all my matches going in the top cut. So that made it feel pretty nice. In addition to the fact that mono doesn't really do anything against us because our heal is not attached to a superpower, so that stand together does pretty much nothing.
Pretty much nothing, yeah.
Yeah, so we spent most of our time working on your matchup, Burt, because going into the Sunday, we thought that was like a 90-10
Oh yeah.
unfavored for you.
Oh yeah. It felt pretty bad. It felt really, really bad. Smallwood, did you give any thought to your matchup? I know you said you had to go up against Lady Death, Mistress Death. Where you at, dude? Slapped.
Oh no!
I remember him being like confident that he could work through the matchup, but he said he was like unfavored, and it is what it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where I didn't see him play, so I couldn't really make an educated guess or like an educated build at all. I had no basis for the testing, right? And I guess I just kind of knew like from playing Death in my own our own like testing that was like, okay, we knew we're gonna play against like mind games, we're gonna play against stuff like that. And he also landed on the F4 Spider-Man, as did I. So it was actually pretty similar to what we played. And I was like, yes, matchup's pretty terrible. We play Agamotto, but that's turn 10. I will say, if I was able to test, I might have been able to mulligan a little better. Didn't realize how like they could actually clock my life total. I assumed I was going to gain some life by them just not reaching my stat total. That was not the case. Games 2 and 3, I just took a wound every turn, and like I actually just the game one I drew enough healing to Agamotto and I won. And I was like, no, this matchup's not so bad. you know. So I couldn't like well, I guess like I'm getting ahead of myself, but long story short, I couldn't test it because I didn't watch him play. I wasn't there Friday, and I kind of just had to go on the fly, read his list, and make a 5 minute plan.
Yeah.
It was a fundamental counter. We're playing 16 cards that say grow the death, you know? Not ideal. So yeah, so we had to make a game plan. We talked about it a little bit, and I was like, well, do we go first and imitate like aggro venom? And I was like, well, we don't really do that. It's not our thing. So the one like Zach alluded to it earlier is like we got to play our preferred initiative the whole day. That was a low key success of the deck, right? We played second. No one wanted to. I lost every die roll, but I played every initiative I wanted.
Right.
Same thing happened in Top Cut. I was able to play second. Like we did gas him out. He was big, but I was thinking to myself, all right, well, we'll just gain some life. This is not what happened. But it is what it is. That unfortunately was a fundamental counter to kind of like what we were doing. It was winnable, but it wasn't favorable. And games 2 and 3 were like, okay, my deck didn't really cooperate to win the unfavored matchup. Unfortunately.
Let's.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
What a hard counter, man. Such a heartbreaker.
I think I had the roughest matchup in top 16 personally. Um, so here's the thing. I sat down and I was like, okay, well, however we can, we're just gonna nitpick him a little bit, just a little bit. Anything we can get out of him. Ron Mulholland is known for the extremes. He doesn't show any emotion. He tries not to show any emotion. He tries not to talk much. He tries not, but he's going to play well. He's going to do the best of what he gets. And so am I. I remember the difference between Mulholland's games and T-Wiv games being that you guys were going second because you wanted the card draw. You wanted to see the boy in the doom more frequently. He went first. I was like, man, if I gain a life here, we are actually in a great spot. I think I started Hobgoblin. It was either Hobgoblin or Doc Ock, one of the two, and we gained a life. I'm like, yes, give me that. He actually, in game one, I don't know if anybody knows this other than who was standing right there. I think Ethan was standing right there. He didn't draw any heals at all. None. No queens, no We Are Carnage. And the one time that he did Powerhouse in game one, he got no Lokes and 2 queens. I'm like, this is insane. This
God
is
was
insane.
smiling on
Like
you.
the lowest of low rolls when it comes to healing. Typically when you see Venom in tournament, 2 of 3 things happens. Either he curves out, or he finds a grip of healing, or he's like mega yoked. He's like turn 1 prime double pump. He normally gets 2 of those 3 things. But when you get all 3, like you're Jose Barreros, right? You can't lose. When you get one of those 3 things, he looks human. He looks like an average to mediocre main. Mulholland got the curve. He curved out. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but he didn't get the heals and he didn't get the pump. So I was like, man, we're dealing the wounds and he's not healing them. He was at 3. I landed Ash and Sandman, and I remember he drew. He like got out of it with like a late Doom and a yellow, and I was like, okay. And then I ripped Thanos Vault off the top, and
Hell yeah.
Thanos Vault Electro killed. If he's ever at 3, that just wins. He never healed, so I was like, okay, we got him. We go into game 2 with 35 minutes left on the clock. It's 80 minutes, and we spent 45 of it, right? And this time he got the heals and the growth, but he didn't curve out necessarily. He went nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3. He went Echo on 4, Boy on 5, and he grew and he healed, right? So I was like, okay, we probably don't win this because I'm never going to kill the Powerhouse, and he's going to be able to just wheel all of his Lokes back. I think we were talking about it nights before, and it was like every time he plays a Loke and he pays for the Powerhouse, it just gets better statistically, right? He's going to land Queens and a green, or like double Wild Loke and a Queens, right? So I was like, okay, we probably lose this, but I don't see a way for him to clear the Ash. Like, we're not dead. He has to figure out how to kill us. And so I was just like, play the Ash, crash, pass, gain 3 life. Play the Ash, crash, gain 3 life, pass the turn. And before I knew it, time was called. Chad was sitting right there. He's like, well, that's time in the round. That's time for this set. And I just remember I was thinking, okay, well, for game 3, I need to go first. I need to deal the wounds, and I need to land the zombie Jugsy Wugsy so that we can win. If we infect him, regardless of if he's healing or not, the pressure's on. And if we ever land Storm, he takes 2 wounds, right? It would have been first wound wins. I didn't even need to think that far. Chad was just like, well, you're 1 game down. The set's over. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane.
And to be clear, none of us knew that's how that worked going into that. I was pretty shocked when he said that, and I felt real bad for Milholland, if I'm being honest.
I felt super bad because I feel like if Mulholland knew that, he would have played game 1 way different. He would have never went to 3 if he could help it, right? I was just like, what is going on here? I think he got minced up by the judge, but just gets it. Yeah. Right. Yes, yeah, me. Never,
Yeah.
yeah.
If anybody is unhappy with how that shook out, you got. I'll be honest, that stuff is really important for keeping the tournament moving at a reasonable pace. It was really important. There's a lot of time games that happened that weekend. And
Yeah,
like unfortunately it's not always on us. Like we're a lot of healing in the format, but like they need to move it along. We can't have like top 8 last till 8 p.m. So it was shout out to them for moving it along. Yeah.
This is why I always bring up win cons because like I think it's brutal enough that we played a 45, 50-minute game one, but like eventually he had to kill me somehow. Galactus wasn't going to do it. It had to have been like something in his kit had to just say Burt loses here, but he never saw that, you know? Like I wasn't going to concede, so I was like, well, I mean, yeah, we'll just play game 3. It's no big deal. I will admit I have never been in that situation of, oh, you're up one, the set is just over. That's brutal, man. That was so brutal. I got up and I was like, man, I would hate to be Mulholland right now. That actually sucks. That sucks. Especially because I know he had game. I know he had game. He was highlight reeling me at the end of game 2. He's like, my venom is what, plus 100, 100? Like, he wasn't even healing. He had no wounds. He was like, no, double him. Thor, double him. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to achieve him ever again. It's never going to happen. But he was getting storm locked, and he couldn't kill. Who did I had the Sandman left. He couldn't kill him. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I guess just cooler heads prevail, because if I were anybody else, I would get freaked out. I would throw the match away, but all I had to do was, and that speaks to, like, I don't want to say the scumminess of 80 minutes, but like, can I just play a 75-minute game one, like, with a control guy? You know? Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That actually happened to me in our top 16 game against Tevin. Shout out to him for a good set. It was like game 1, it was a 45-minute game 1. I land the Agamotto after a very long game, and he says, I'm going to concede from here. He had to re-sleeve because the sleeve was broken. And he knew from the time of re-sleeving and from having to win the next 2 that he needed all the time that was left.
Hmm.
And so Tevin, he scooped up. I did request an extension. We got an extension from the judges because of the sleeving. So, like, I wasn't like not trying to win like that, but it doesn't feel great. I didn't even know if it was benefiting me to slow down or anything like that. So we just played, like, we actually sped up to make sure we could finish the set. And kudos to him and me because we sped up drastically and we actually finished 2 more games inside the remaining 45 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's because he knew to concede there because I could have walked it a long victory there and it would have been like impossible for him to win from there. So
Right.
he knew I got to get out of this game to win the next 2. So that is a part of the game. He did good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he would have been in the same position as Milholland then.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh, John, why don't you talk to me about Kingpin v. Luke Cage in the battle for Hell's Kitchen? Yep. Um. Oh man. C-Stacks, Mr. Berman, you had to take out Magneto, Mantle Magneto. Do you remember that set at all?
Yeah. So I think game one, and again, I got to choose initiative the whole time, which was great. So I made him play first, and he did not draw the turn one level game one. What's the card that lets him do that?
Astra.
Astra, that's the guy. Didn't see that. So I just from there I just started ripping his hand out. I did not see as much discarding game two early on, or as much healing, and he eventually actually did get me game two. I think I discarded the wrong card out of his hand with my last Nakota, and he was able to put together like a big flying team attack or something like that and hit my big Venom. And I hadn't healed enough that game. But then game three, he just didn't find the turn one level up again, and then I just started discarding. So games one and three just kind of were the deck just doing its thing, which Venom is very, very, or the deck was very, very good at, because when your opponent has no cards, they're just easy.
I personally can't wait to hear the Apex side of that between losing and getting clapped by Venom, but stay tuned for that.
He definitely got the turn one level on the game two and started smacking me and drawing cards and all that. And that combined with the lack of healing, he definitely got me game two for sure.
Yeah, he grows. He draws cards and he ramps, which is crazy.
That guy's level 2 is super cool, yeah. But
yeah. We're in top 8 now. We all, well, minus Smallwood, right? He lost the set.
Salute.
All right. Roll.
He took home the legendary trophy. I only feel so bad. No, I'm just kidding. On all seriousness, I owe like all my tournament success to him for lending me the deck. So. Yeah. Always given to me. This was Bryan Danielson, which would be the first time that I've ever read any of the wrestling cards. So that was gonna, yeah. So I did get to choose initiative still, so I just chose to go second. And they start with the ladder match or whatever. Is that what the one?
Yep.
Whichever one is the one that lets them beat the crap out of you. But that was fine because I drew pretty well, and I was able. I think I actually drew like double or triple codex that game, which is funny because we're only playing 3 of it, and I actually like got to fight him. But once you start discarding, and I was like discarding all the Earths and Scullies out of his hand, I was like, oh yeah, get those out of here. We don't want you casting those. So yeah, it just kind of got there with the discard again. The wrestling cards are no joke though. They have a bunch of cards that are like beat the crud out of you. Go get the chair from your deck or whatever. Oh, what is it? The bat you can go get from the deck.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he was beating the crap out of me a little bit, but I was drawing the heals while I was at the same time getting all those heals out of his hand. I don't think he was able to cast or resolve a single Scully. So it was just the deck doing its job.
Was that 2-0 or did he take you to game 3?
I think that one was 2-0.
Okay.
It might have been I might have gone to game 3, but I don't remember them well enough.
Really bad for Bryan Danielson for sure.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a question about should I go first or second and try to mimic an aggro deck, since he was going to try to beat me up and he has that like aggro level up condition or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just decided to just execute the game plan of the deck and try to go second.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
John, I think us. We're up, right? Sin 6 has a vendetta against Spider-Man. Kingpin's like, no, me. And I knew, oh man, I knew this matchup was terrible. It's like 95-5, right? But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the best I can. Dakota's lit in the matchup. Ronan's lit in the matchup. Stormlocky. We're gonna after. Oh man. This is rough. This is a rough matchup, man. Yeah. If your deck's like the only deck that's like, oh, okay, that's okay. Bro. Uh, here's what I remember in game one. I remember I started with Craven. I dealt, I want to say 2, 3 wounds before he died. You gained life in there with he couldn't see me out of time. You were at 4 wounds and you took over the world. Right? In the midst of that, Nakota and Ronan came down, ripped your hand up, and I remember you landed a Starhawk, but I killed him. So at 5 of 6, you needed to draw a Starhawk and a life off the top. What did you do, John? What'd you do? Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
I can
Clearly.
I can concur. I watched this game on John's side. I'm looking at his hand. I'm like, he's like dead on board. I was like, damn, Burt's actually got a lot of game in this matchup. I thought it was the other way. I'm like, he's dead on board. It's like no way he's coming out of this. Like, them top 2 cards were fire for the next 3 consecutive turns.
Yeah.
It's one of the best cards in the game. So good.
Yeah. I remember giving you an Ash. I thought I was pretty sneaky. I was going to give you an Ash, try and break up
That
the
was cheeky
promote.
smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. That's game one. Game two, I'm like, well, I mean, he can't do it twice, right? I'm still going to put him to 4-4 or 5-6, but let's see what happens. I remember 2 Dakotas. I remember fighting you, dealing the wounds. I remember Hobgoblin went into level 2 Kingpin, and it was a clean attack. And I remember you needed to draw. You needed to draw Shikla and a way to gain a life. You needed Shikla to promote. You needed a way to gain a life if you couldn't promote. What did you do in game two, John? Oh my god! Yeah. Yeah. I,
Brutal.
and there was even still an out. Believe it or not, there was still an out. I had short out of target on me. Yeah. Electro. So my plan was because I knew you ripped the Shikla. I was like, man, that's so good. You're so good at this game. I think that you would have had to go record then promote, and I think you did because you attacked the deck, right? Yeah. So I go, okay, the deck's gone, but I'm sitting here, I'm looking at, I had 2 blues and an Oscore in the row. I'm like, I actually can still pull this off, and I even remember I was like, well, let me crash this Hobgoblin because I need to be able to go into the Electro. If I go Shark hide away, you can't promote, right? So I was like, okay, well, this is yeah. It's why I didn't snap concede. I'm like, man, if he attacks the hand, that's brutal. But the Electro would have came back, right? You just needed to not draw. There was something you needed to not draw, but you drew it. It's fine. You drew it. And I was like, well, he promotes. The game's over. I'm never going to achieve infinity health. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man,
Good
GG's.
job on Burt playing to the outs though. That
Yeah,
was awesome. And like I don't think people realize how hard it is to win these things and how much you need to go your way and how like fine tooth these like sets get in top 16. Like it is not easy, man. It's brutal.
no,
Agreed.
yeah,
You also made a good call on protecting yourself. It was a really tight set. I was watching that one from like start to finish.
yeah. I wish we had recorded that, but we get up. We're like, all right, well, at least I crashed into the Death Star and saved the rebellion. I want to talk about Mulholland because we talked about this a lot. We're like, man, if you don't get Mulholland, there's a world where Kingpin doesn't get through. Yeah, so that ends me and Smallwood's Gen Con. We're getting ready to pack up and go home. You guys still have quite a bit of verses to play, you and Stacks. We're gonna kick it right back to Kingpin. Who are you playing next?
Mitch and Patrick.
So this time I finally had to play against Death, which we knew would probably happen eventually in Top Cut, and we knew that I was going to be unfavored against. And again, it was the question of, do we try to go first and be an aggro guy, or do we try to stick to the game plan and go second and do the discard thing? And I was kind of the mind that if we can put him on no cards, sure, he'll get big, but we can get sort of big too, and we can heal and maybe get there if he's just on no cards. I don't know if it was the right call, but I kept choosing to go second. And I think we did end up going to game 3, and it was a very long match. I think game 2 was the one that I was actually able to get there and just somehow put 8 wounds on him pretty quickly. But by the end of game 3, I was playing so sloppy. John can probably attest that I was playing pretty loose by the end of, and that match was going on for so long. How long was time limit in top 4 even?
Untimed.
Right, because our match had started late, I think. Instituted a time limit, right?
Finish. Yep. Wouldn't be
So
surprised if next year we have a time limit for everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a real chance to get there game 3, but after making some sloppy plays and whatnot, he did a bit. I think he saw maybe all 4 super giant. He saw at least 3 super giant, and he ended up wheeling me for my whole deck. And I eventually just decked out and had no win condition left. I had a couple of heals left on board and no wounds, but literally no cards in my hand and no cards in my deck. So I just conceded at that point. So that's where my tournament run ended in top 4 to PJ on Death. So big shout out to PJ for making it to the finals. His deck was pretty sweet. The Death was definitely a really good call, especially for that second day.
Oh yeah.
It pains me. It pains me that we ran into the wall of like the unwinnable matchup. Because I
Right.
feel like the deck didn't get its flowers. Like it was so good against everything else, but man,
Yeah.
that matchup is
Yeah.
horrendous.
It felt good. At least I made it through top 16 and top 8 without seeing it. I guess it was only a matter of time before I ran into it. It only could have been better if I could have been in the finals against John. But top 4 is not too bad, and PJ definitely made a great call.
Top 4 definitely not bad. I wonder who told him that, because that's brutal. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Prep testing, everything.
Yeah.
And once you start playing at a high level, even a small game like ours, once you start playing at a high level and you end up at the top tables, you know, you're a few rounds in, you're 3-0, 4-0, you're not playing against chumps anymore.
Yeah.
That there is skill involved once you get into those higher tables at the top events.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, he played his butt off for sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Grand finals.
Yeah. Uh, um, mhm. Well, yeah. Man, finish the story, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I wish we were there to pop off with you, man. We had to make that
Yeah,
drive,
man.
but I was like so happy for you. Your top four looked like you had a chance to walk through it. You did,
Oh yeah.
but no,
Yep.
it's from tight sets nonetheless. But I gotta give some props. Nothing taken away from John on Burt. We've been playing that out of time. You can't see me heal package with like Mysterio and Before Night Watch's band for like a year and a half. No joke. It's like
Yeah.
it was like the best kept secret in versus.
Oh yeah.
We were playing it in so many decks.
Oh
We
yeah.
were playing like Dark Phoenix, playing Kingpin, and like it elevated. It's the reason the deck was good. Those cards are so messed up, man.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
like nothing to it, Johnny took incredible play to win that thing, but that list was fire. We were working on that for a while, mostly Burr. That was just a straight fire list, and the engine was fantastic.
Yeah. I'm,
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
You can't not believe me. He's so convincing.
trying.
Same, same.
Oh man.
It's funny because how the testing process unfolds, the behind the scenes thing. Like we at Kingpin is like the most potent win con, like probably in the game besides Valkyrie. but we
Yeah.
really believed Mono Defenders was going to be like very represented because of how good Daredevil and Luke Cage were. Little did
Yep.
we know, no one else thought that. So
Yeah.
Kingpin was fantastic on that.
Kingpin was great. That was like my second favorite deck overall. The only reason I didn't play him is because I actually believed in Stand Together. I was like, man, that's how you get through Swiss. That guy punches super fucking hard. And he has healing and negates. Like, what more could you ask for? You know?
After we played on Thursday, real quick, I'll let you go. I played like we were doing league games, and Burt was playing random stuff, and I was like, I'll just play this Daredevil deck. It was like in my bag. I'm like, man, this deck feels so messed up. We were playing I was like, he was playing stuff for the tournament. He was playing Mulholland's like F4 Venom list. He was playing like I was like, this deck just feels messed up, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
They did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk. Yeah. Gotta go.
Absolutely. Last Gen Con even. Last Gen Con. Yeah. Yep.
Magneto. Yeah. Last year.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And that was the question me and Burt were agonizing over for like the whole 2 months we were theory crafting. Was just like, it doesn't really matter what's good. It's like because it's rock paper scissors. Like, what do you think they're going to do? And it's like, and then talking to other teams after we got there, and it's like most people's book. We thought Boogeyman like Daredevil was one of them, but a lot of other teams were just like, nah, we wanted to beat like Venom and Valkyrie were the two decks, which makes sense because Mono Defenders like didn't have a great matchup with those two in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it was really interesting that intricate like how each team's testing results impact what they're going to play and how that match messes with the matchups at the tournament. It's just really interesting overall.
Yep. We all pack up. And we're done with Gen Con, man. We're at the end here.
Well, you gotta mention the promo gauntlet.
Oh! Remember how I said that?
And,
Oh, yeah,
and there's a
the
giant
belt.
AEW belt.
And they pseudo announced a new set with the big cards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. $200. Gimme. I think
Big
isn't
box.
Spider-Man and Spider Friends and Sim 6.
Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
getting christened with their first ever big box.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna lose quite a few of them. Yeah.
We got that. Yeah, John got a really fat, juicy belt. I know that thing is just feeling right at home. You've been chasing that chip and for there to be
Honestly,
a belt.
it could not have gone home with anybody else. It had to be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
all
Truly
the
could not
swag
have
was
gone to
great.
a more deserving player.
Agreed. John deserved it. The well chased.
Really
I mean,
have.
that's a Gen Con first, a Gen Con second, and a Gen Con top 8 at least that I'm remembering. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's goat status. You've like ton of consistent finishes, regional dubs. It's not close. It's great. It's fantastic. They also gave us some juicy Infinity Gauntlets for top 16ing. And one of the saving graces of Tevin dumpstering me was I got first pick of the big cards in top 16 losers bracket. And so we got to get the promo of the giant card Infinity Gauntlet. That's a
More
juicy
Gauntlet!
card. That's a
Give me that.
juicy big card, boy. They were all drooling. I was like, I get my first pick. I am the biggest loser.
I
Give
will
me that.
say about the promos as well. Huge props to whoever designed the Infinity Stone promos, because if you haven't looked closely at those yet, I recommend you pull those out. because you can like connect them, like the pieces of Exodia, and they create like an image. They're all from the same splash page. So all the promos were really cool this year, especially I thought the gems that can all connect. Heck yeah!
I
Shout
think
out
so.
to the boy.
Very big one. Big incentive reward for top 16 because I felt like last year top 16 was like it didn't feel that special. I think they did a good job here making it special with a promo and like a big card for top 16 losers. Like I feel like you had a good accomplishment there where you finished that day. You either made more money or you got some cool swag. Everyone got a promo. They did a good job.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this big old Gen Con discussion, man.
It's a long one.
Thank all three of you for sitting here with me. I think we're just under 2 hours. Woo-wee! What are the next steps for this T-Wiv revival reunion?
Oh,
What are
man.
you guys doing in the post, man?
Well, I don't know if it's going to involve much versus. I will say though, I just got a new job. Today was actually my first day on campus at my new school. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Thank you. But I also just picked up a little bit of Pokemon TCG, because John's been trying to get me in on that. My brother's been trying to get me in on that, so I figured it was time. So I might be dabbling with a little bit of Pokemon TCG here and there, and if Versus survives until next year, fingers crossed, then maybe we'll see then. But maybe a little bit of Pokemon.
Got to get one for the comeback kid.
Oh!
The comeback kid's got to get his, yes.
Oh!
Or Stacks. I'll take either one.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Listen, I didn't expect that we'd get announced another 200 card box this soon, so who knows?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't know if we
web
mentioned
store.
that. There was no versus signage anywhere. It was like non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time I play those mains, I feel rewarded in tournament, man, for sure. I'm super
Let me
glad.
ask you one final question for the future. Then, would you guys rather see in that 200 card box? Another like full Sin 6 team, or maybe just a Sin 6 main character without the keyword?
I'd
Like,
like
what
to
if
see
it was
their
just
own
like
mains. I'd like to see
right,
their
like
own mains.
Green Goblin, Sinister 6 team affiliated, 6 health, just him or something?
I think I'm gonna do traditional mains this time, level 1, level 2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to. I feel like they wouldn't want to take away from the magic of the first 3 cigarette boxes, right? Like, oh, that was their thing for.
You'd have
time.
to dilute the team a lot, like print 6 new guys, and then at that point, there's like 20 of them to pick from.
Right.
It's a design hole, right? Like they got to go back to the regular way because otherwise you're always forced to play pile of Sin 6 guys.
Yeah.
I think it'll be cool though to see a true Sin 6 main.
Yeah, like the actual guys. They can flavor build them and actually make different feeling guys. Whereas like if they're all 1 health Sin 6ers, it's a lot less creative in my opinion.
Right. It's a cool design, but it's limited what you can do from card to card.
Exactly. Like Green Goblin was really cool. Like he's a builder on guy, but he's a Sin 6 guy, so there's a limit.
Yeah.
I'd like to see traditionals.
Right.
All right. I think what they did was great. They don't have any holes in those guys, depending on if they get incurred or not. But like, I'd like to see some traditionals.
Yep.
Agree.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can touch on that briefly.
Well, Kingpin's his ass is grass, right?
Kingpin's a guarantee,
Get
right?
him outta here.
Maybe. Do you think they hit the second place main character as well? Do you think they hit Death?
Death was.
There was
He was
3
tied
deaths.
with. He was tied. And then Valkyrie was the most repped photo guy. So those.
See, I guess the problem is we don't know the parameters, right? We never know the parameters. It's kind of just a dart, but we know.
I'm always
Kingpin
kind of
for sure.
like confused by what they ban. They're always like weirdly heavy-handed in some areas and then totally hands off on others. That's what I was astounded when I saw that, because I saw because some people were playing that in their Molecule Man deck, because you can play the other
Molecule Man.
Ultron and then yeah. So, and I was watching him like draw cards with that. I swore it was banned, and I looked. I guess they just banned every Sentinel guy for the sins of Ultron. There are other guys you can do that with, but whatever. I'm not SAG, so.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard to call
hope
if they go for like most mains or like who does well, because realistically there was a lot of Venoms, there was a lot of Deaths, a lot of Valkyries. Kingpin's obviously going to go. Sin 6 should go. They also performed well. Sin 6 was
Okay,
winning
how
games
do
too.
you go through banning Sin 6? Like, is it just
Do you
all
pick
of the
individual guys, or do you think they'll just hit them all?
Well, you have to ban Sandman, right? Yeah, I would imagine whatever the crossover is between me, Mitch, and Vern, like the ones that we all played, should probably just go. There was I was on Doc Ock and they weren't, and then they were on Mysterio and I wasn't. So I don't know how they would do that, but like
They're
not
going to ban
all
enough of them
11
that they're not playable, right? Like that's what's just going to happen regardless. They'll hit the right
Yeah.
ones, or even some of them it'll make them generally unplayable. Not always, maybe not all the way.
They're gonna try to force
Right.
you to play Vulture.
Yeah, but no one wants that. Chameleon, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows,
Nakota?
man?
Dakota's
they
got to
need
be
to
one of the
turn it
most
over
played
quick.
STs, right?
Turn it over quick because September is the next reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see because there's a lot of stuff that was really good that didn't win or top a lot, but it doesn't
Right.
mean it's like Molecule Man, like, cause it's like the worst kept secret in Versus. Like everybody knows that guy's completely messed up,
Yeah.
and he might get away with one here.
Yeah.
He might get away with one. He wasn't really. He was one in top the entire top, if I'm not mistaken. It was Jose.
Mhm.
The ceiling on that guy feels virtually infinite, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you can build it to handle anything. It's just it's hard to build it to beat everything.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm excited to see what they do, but we're ready for a nice little Versus break. You know,
Oh, yeah.
breather, be a dad, relax.
I'm taking a cool break, man. I'm gotta have a break, man. Ooh.
But the people make the game, man. It was fun seeing everybody, hanging out with Stacks the first time in 2 years, meeting his brother, hanging out with him at the B&B, and it was just a good weekend.
it was a blast, man.
Yeah.
Had a
And
good time.
getting on here and just shooting with you guys, just talking,
Yeah.
Drinking with
like the old days, like the good old days.
Yep. Good old days. You can you can check me out on the New York Minute. I don't know what the next steps are, but yeah, I'll send the description link. You can check out the stuff I already have. We'll figure something out. The year's not done yet, so
We'll see you when we see you.
yeah. Hell yeah. Stacks, where can we find you?
You can find me at C_stacks on YouTube. I haven't posted in a long time, but if you're interested in some older Versus content, there is some good stuff there. A couple of good vlogs and maybe some old openings or some old podcasts that might interest you if you're interested in old Versus formats. But as for right now, we're on an indefinite hiatus, but maybe you'll see some more content on there in the future.
Yeah. And John, what are you getting up to, man? What's your shtick here? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Winning the belt must help a little bit.
Yeah. Oh. Did it.
Crack the
But-
cookie.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That's all she wrote.
Chasing that one's hard, man, because that's a difficult one to win.
100%.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Well, it's old fashioned o'clock for me, boys. It's over. It's we're done. Uh, yeah. Hit the theme. X. Bong, 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 bong. You know?